Picture a cold February night in Minneapolis where green and white confetti showers the turf of U.S. Bank Stadium. Now look at that same champion standing on the opposite sideline, wearing the colors of the dynasty he helped dethrone. That player walked away from Philadelphia in complete silence, cut loose mid-season and slapped with the brutal label of a draft bust, only to claw through 4 different franchises before a top insider proposed the unthinkable, bringing him home before Week 1. If you love deep-dive football breakdowns like this, take a second to hit like, share the video, and subscribe to join the community. Look around the current roster right now and ask yourself a blunt question. What happens when 3rd and goal hits inside the 5-yard line and every defense packs the paint against a flock of sub-6-foot pass catchers? That looming crisis is exactly why Jimmy Kempsky dropped a proposal that is setting the fanbase on fire. The idea centers around a veteran weapon who went from forgotten draft pick to one of the most dependable role players in the entire league, Mack Hollins. To grasp why this conversation is happening, you have to look at the severe mismatch brewing inside Philadelphia's wide receiver room. After waiving Johnny Wilson with an injury designation, the physical profile of this offense shrank overnight. Wilson stood 6'6", giving the unit a dedicated target capable of winning contested jump balls and dominating red zone snaps. Without him, the roster is drastically undersized. Among the receivers competing for real playing time, the tallest option is Dontavian Wicks at 6'1" and 206 pounds. Behind him, Devonta Smith checks in at 6 feet and 170 pounds. Mekhi Lemon measures 5'11". Darius Cooper stands 5'11". Elijah Moore is 5'10". Hollywood Brown sits at 5'9", and Britton Covey rounds out the group at 5'8". In composite size rankings across the entire NFL, measuring the average height and weight of top 3 receiver units, Philadelphia sits 25th out of 32 franchises. That lack of size leaves a clear vulnerability in tight spaces where quickness alone cannot replace raw leverage. This brings us right back to the roots of Mack Hollins and why his physical profile fits the exact blueprint the coaching staff lost. Hollins built his entire career out of absolute obscurity. Coming out of high school in Rockville, Maryland, he received 0 scholarship offers. Not a single Division I program believed in his talent. He spent an additional post-grad season grinding at Fork Union Military Academy simply to earn an opportunity to walk on at the University of North Carolina. He paid his own tuition, worked his way from the bottom of the depth chart, and produced one of the most explosive collegiate stretches in program history. Over his final 3 seasons at UNC, despite missing half of his senior year with a broken collarbone, he caught 81 passes for 1,667 yards and 20 touchdowns, averaging an astonishing 20.6 yards per reception, an all-time school record. During one campaign, he led the entire nation by averaging 24.8 yards per grab, while simultaneously serving as special teams captain with 24 total tackles. Philadelphia invested the 118th overall pick in the 4th round of the 2017 draft to bring him in. His rookie campaign flashed real promise, highlighted by a 64-yard touchdown strike from Carson Wentz and 17 total catches. More importantly, Hollins played active snaps in Super Bowl 52, lifting the Lombardi Trophy after a 41-33 victory over the New England Patriots. Then adversity derailed his progress. A severe groin injury forced him onto injured reserve for the entire 2018 championship defense campaign. When he returned in 2019, the rhythm was gone, his offensive role evaporated, and Philadelphia released him that December. Most players labeled as mid-round busts fade away after being waived. Hollins did the opposite. Claimed by the Miami Dolphins, he spent parts of 3 years refining his craft before embarking on a relentless tour across the league. The Las Vegas Raiders in 2022, the Atlanta Falcons in 2023, the Buffalo Bills in 2024, and the New England Patriots. Far from washing out, Hollins evolved into a premier dirty work receiver and core special teams ace. In 2022, with Las Vegas, he posted career-high numbers with 57 receptions for 690 yards and 4 touchdowns. In Buffalo, He found the end zone 5 times. Last season in New England, he hauled in 46 passes for 550 yards and 2 scores across 15 games, starting 13 of them. He posted a career-best 8.5 yards per target, recorded an average depth of target of 13.3 yards, and finished the entire season without a single drop pass. Over 9 NFL seasons and 127 career games, his totals sit at 208 receptions, 2,619 yards, and 17 touchdowns. At 6'4" and 221 pounds, Hollins is the exact prototype the front office hoped Johnny Wilson would develop into: a massive boundary blocker, reliable chains mover, and red zone mismatch. Now comes the twist in Kempski's proposal that makes the trade dynamic so fascinating. The suggested return package to Foxborough is veteran backup quarterback Andy Dalton. The 38-year-old Dalton struggled on the field throughout the preseason, frustrating fans who watched younger options outperform him in game action. However, during joint practice sessions against the Patriots in Foxborough, Dalton put together steady, sharp reps. New England's depth chart behind rookie starter Drake currently features Tommy DeVito as the primary backup. Adding a veteran with Dalton's extensive starting experience gives New England a steady mentor in the quarterback room to guide May through his development. Here is our question of the day. Would you trade away Andy Dalton to land Mack Hollins, or does giving up your veteran quarterback safety net create too big of a risk behind Jalen Hurts? Drop your take in the comments below. Adding to the drama is the wild irony connecting these two franchises. Hollins finds himself potentially expendable in New England primarily because the Patriots loaded up their wide receiver room. New England acquired A.J. Brown, handed significant money to Romeo Doubs, worked Demario Douglas in the slot, drafted Kyle Williams in the 3rd round, and retained Keyshawn Boutte. The ripple effect of A.J. Brown wearing a Patriots jersey is the exact reason Hollins is buried on their depth chart, creating a scenario where Philadelphia could indirectly benefit from the fallout. Before calling this trade a certainty, several major counterpoints demand realistic perspective. First, this proposal represents analytical speculation from Jimmy Kempski rather than active trade discussions between front offices. Late August roster projections are educated scenarios, not confirmed deals. Second, Hollins turns 33 years old this September. His career production of 208 receptions over nearly a decade establishes him as a solid 5th receiver and special teams contributor, not a game-breaking starter. Third, trading Dalton forces the organization to elevate Tanner McKee to the uncontested backup quarterback role, backed by an unproven rookie. If Jalen Hurts misses time in the middle of a playoff race, the offense would operate without an experienced veteran under center. Finally, the lack of wide receiver height might be an intentional philosophical choice. Kellen Moore's passing concepts prioritize separation speed, pre-snap motion, and yards after the catch rather than relying on contested jump balls. Roster spots handed to 33-year-old specialists directly reduce developmental opportunities for younger talent. Whether Howie Roseman makes another signature late August phone call or stands pat with his current group, the contrast is undeniable. Philadelphia enters the season boasting elite agility on the perimeter, but the lack of size in critical short yardage moments remains an unresolved debate. If an undersized receiving core struggles on 3rd downs in November, this theoretical reunion might look less like a random late summer proposal and more like a missed opportunity to complete a championship puzzle.